Man, what a nasty Monday. Oh, hopefully you guys have some sunshine where you are. It's supposed to just be icky and blah and stormy all day. So whatevs. I wanted to give you a quick rundown of my spiritual tune-up with Steve Freeland. If you haven't seen my review of his works package, using the Vibrational Alchemy and kind of talking through his class, because I did that as well, then go back, because some of this might not make as much sense. I scheduled myself for my annual tune-up, and I told him, I was like, man, maybe we should do this every 6 months, because I don't feel like I've done anything heavy. I haven't experienced any traumas, but like every once in a while, it's just nice to get a tune-up, get a pick-me-up. I was like, you should have something for the intervals, maybe do like just, I don't know, something different, but still a tuning work. So I gave him a million ideas. We decided to bring in Angel Hania this time, and I only work with like one angel. So, like, he was like, which angel would you like to use today? And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I have my fallback, but I don't really work with angels that much. So he was like, but he was getting out the incense and doing this, that, and the other, and he had this oil. And I was like, that smells really good. What is that? And he was like, actually, this is Angel Hania's oil. And I'm like, dude, let's do him, because that smells good. It was floral, but earthy. And I didn't get to keep it. My hair still smells like a little bit of everything. And he was like, let's do that. I'm like, yeah, let's jump on in. So there wasn't too much. I was asking, as always, for answers and clarity and inspiration. And it turns out Haniel's big on inspiration, excuse me, and opening up all your psychic stuff, and just kind of generally helping you flush the system and open up. And I was like, cool, I'm all in for that, you know. And so we did some basic work. We did a light meditation, and like I kept getting stuff, and I'm like, dude, I need a pen and paper. And he kind of laughed, because like only I know him well enough to know that he's not going to be disrespected by me being like, dude, get me a piece of pen and a paper. I gotta write this down before I forget it all. You know, there are some people who would be like, dude, why are you disturbing me in the middle of my work? But like, Steve knows that I meant no disrespect. I was like, dude, and it's funny because I had my pen and my paper and I left it in the other room in my bag. I meant to bring it with me. And he was like, yeah, hold on, let me finish this round. I'm like, thank you. And so I was writing down everything I was getting, and like all this, like everything was like just coming through me, like being channeled. And I was like, oh my gosh, you got to write an article on this. You got to write an article. I'm like, you got to do this. And he's like, this is supposed to be for you. I'm like, I know, but this helps people. Would just go with it. So like that was kind of fun. I really enjoyed that. But it was funny, I almost didn't make it to the appointment because I had a pretty severe allergic reaction to being around all the mold at the farm. We were cleaning up old logs that had fallen, limbs that had fallen from the last few storms, and like moving some pieces of wood behind our newly refurbished barn ends that had been rotting. And like, I didn't think anything of it, really. I was just like, let's just get it done. I wore my work gloves. I brought a completely different change of clothes so that obviously I wouldn't be inhaling it. But like, I had a really, really bad allergic reaction. So I messaged him, and I'm like, dude, I love you, but I don't know if I'm going to make it. And he's like, come in, we'll get you some tea, we'll hang out. And if you want to do it, he's like, if we have to cut it short, that's okay. If we have to come back to stuff, that's okay. And I was like, okay, but just so you know, if I'm like, dude, I need to use the restroom, that everyone is clear, I gotta go. So that was, he's like, I know you're gonna be fine, just come in, we'll take care of you. And I'm like, thank you. So it was really nice to have a practitioner that is that is understanding and respectful about that, because some people, I mean, obviously I wasn't sick, I'm not contagious, you know, there's nothing bad that was going to happen if I went that would, you know, affect other people. If that was true, I just would have canceled the appointment, because I don't want to give other people germs, dude. I have kids, I get that. But, like, it was really nice of him to be so understanding, because I know there are people who aren't. And I know that sounds crazy, but there really are. And I get that, because some people, especially people that are newer to practicing, adhere to a pretty strict regiment, especially when we're talking about tuning forks, singing bowls. Like, there's that beautiful thematic movement of the notes and the healing process that you don't just want to chop and be like, I need to write something down, or chop, I need to use the restroom, or chop, I need water, you know, like, so it was really nice, as always, to work with someone as experienced and understanding, but especially in this specific instance, because I was just a snotty mess. So I'm very grateful for experienced practitioners that know kind of how to deal with that as it is. But it was really nice, especially when I interrupted him to ask for the pen and paper. I was like, dude, I need a pen and paper. Like, obviously he could hear me, but like, I didn't want to like shake him, because grab him and be like, pen and paper. And like, I felt really selfish, but you have to remember, even all of these things are for your greater good. So if you are getting a message and you are worried that you are not going to remember it, yes, ask your practitioner. And your practitioner may say, hold on a second, let me finish this round. Or hold on a second, let me finish the next tuning fork. And like, your job is to hold as much of that stuff in your brain as you can until you can release it. But thankfully, Steve was very understanding. And that's not normal. Like, normally I will keep my pen and my paper by my side. And I'm ambidextrous, so I could use both hands, and I don't have to see to write. So, like, I just scribble my shorthand, and I'll go back to it later and be like, what did I just write about cheese? Yeah. But it was really nice. He had a nice big one. We put it on my stomach so I could write while he was going around me still. It was pretty funny. It was a lot of fun. So the tune-up, again, because I hadn't had anything big or jarring happen this year, it wasn't strenuous, it wasn't difficult, it was a lot of fun. So like, if you're concerned about having the initial service done, go back to the original video and listen to me talk about my fears, and listen to me talk about how I assumed things would go, and how wrong I was about that. And I felt just as amazing after this as I did the previous one. And that's why I was kind of like, you know, you got to do this like every 6 months. We should do this seasonally. Just clean out all of the stuff. So it was an amazing experience. And after that part of the particular meditation, we did a very, very deep kind of theta state thing. And I go in and out of states like that. So that wasn't that much of an issue for me to stop and write. Obviously, for someone who's a beginner, that can absolutely interrupt your service cycle. So if you are a beginner, do what you can to hold on to those thoughts. But if you know that you are, I know that I like to write things down, so I will have that talk with my service providers. If it's a new service provider, before I like to write things down. I don't have to open my eyes. I don't have trouble going in and out of states. If you're a beginner, say, I'm a beginner, but I feel like I'm going to want to write things down. May I keep a pad and pen next to me during this service, or on top of me during this service, and just jot things down as they come. Obviously, you don't want to sit up and be jotting things down and completely mess up the mojo, but as you get more experienced with these things, you'll just be able to just write. But the deep theta state, like, I couldn't feel, I was flying, I was gone, I was busy, but I still remembered all the important stuff, so that because it feels like that, like you're in the state, and then like he's like, okay, wiggle your toes, you could sit up, and I'm like, dude, I can't feel my hands. Write this down for me. So it's really nice to be able to have that experience, take things out of that experience, obviously translate them to paper so that you can remember them later. But for me, this was more like a creative brainstorming session. It felt like I didn't get a lot of answers. I feel like I got plugged in to a new creative socket, which is always awesome as someone who loves to do creative things. It was really a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And obviously I'll do my best to carry that through and help share the creative stuff with other people, even if it's just giving other people ideas. I don't mind being a muse. I love being a muse. Sorry, I still have all that snot. Ugh. So, yes, awesome experience as a tune-up. Obviously, an unusual experience in that I felt so moved at certain points that I was like, I have to write this down. I can't forget this. Well, I don't know why. I have to write this down. I can't forget this. And to be courteous to my service provider, Steve, obviously. And he's funny. He was like, yeah, I knew that you were going to be late. And I'm like, of course, you know everything. So it's cool. But like he is confident enough in his skills and understands what he's doing enough to be able to say, yes, let me finish this pass. I'll get you your pen and paper. Thankfully he lent me his pen and paper, because heaven knows if he could have dug through my purse to find mine. But I think that level of providing service, being able to be like, stop, help my client do what they need to do, and then be able to jump back into it. And I think that's a very advanced skill. I know that sounds silly, but if you ever go to a group singing bowl session, if you ever go to a group journey session, like that's not something that happens. Everyone stays down the entire time. Then when you come back up, that's when you kind of translate. Even during a journeying session, I always keep my pen and paper next to me, and I just try to quietly not interrupt everyone else while I'm jotting down what I have to jot down. But I'm experienced enough to know that that's how I work, and that's fine. So figure out how you work. If you can remember everything, then awesome. Wait till the end of the session. But I often feel like if I don't get it out, I'm never going to remember it. Does that make sense? So, as always, I highly recommend Steve Freeland. We had so much fun, and I think that is a huge part of healing. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but to have fun and healing, we feel like it's going to be this heavy thing because we're holding on to all this stuff, and we shouldn't be. But in reality, it's like, dude, just put it down. It's okay. Put it down. So it's really nice to, after that initial cord cutting in the works, to be able to go back and be like, all right, let's have fun. Let's do my tune-up. That was really, really nice and refreshing, and I didn't expect it to be as fun as it was, and it was pretty darn awesome. So I highly recommend. You have to have the full works done before you get tune-up. Why? Because it's important that you have your cord cutting. Duh. And then there are things that you have to fix within yourself to reach the next level. So you can, level up. So get it done. And you can break his works up into different sessions as well. But talk to him. Steve Freeland, Vibrational Alchemy. He does the coolest stuff. I highly recommend it. And there aren't very many practitioners that do anything like that. But the sound, the music, it's just, it's a vacation. It's a vacation. I loved it, and I highly, highly recommend it. All right, thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.